What's up, main event baseball? YouTube baseball fans, hope all you guys are having a lovely Tuesday so far and a great Wednesday and Hoop Day Eve as well, guys. Boy, do we have a very, very interesting and exciting episode today for you guys. Last night, if you didn't catch last night's episode, make sure you do. But a recap. So we are going to talk about basically two things in this episode regarding Boise Hawks baseball. Okay. So like I said last night, I said that in this episode today, we would talk about how the Boise Hawks outfield is very, very unique and how Hawks Memorial Stadium is either a pitcher's ballpark, hitter's ballpark, or middle. So we'll be talking about that. But before we talk about that, we have some business to discuss regarding a former Boise Hawk. You probably know his name, and that is Wilson Contreras. There was an incident with Wilson Contreras last night in the Milwaukee Brewers Boston Red Sox game, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. All right, guys. So the first order of business is to talk about former Boise Hawk Wilson Contreras. Okay, and I'm just going to try to make this one short, simple, and sweet as much as I can. Okay, so if you guys don't know, Wilson Contreras, the newest first baseman for the Boston Red Sox, who is also a former Boise Hawk. Wilson Contreras was a Boise Hawk for 2 full seasons here in Boise, but played 3 years total, okay? So Wilson Contreras played the entire 2011 and 2012 season right here in Boise, Idaho for the Boise Hawks. And at that time, the Boise Hawks were the OA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Now, Wilson Contreras, in those at least 3 seasons, played 4 different positions. He was a left fielder for literally 10% of his career as a Boise Hawk. Then he became a third baseman. Then he became a first baseman. And then he became a catcher. And he would end up making his MLB debut in 2016 as a catcher. But long story short, in 2011 and 12, Wilson Contreras spent the entire season right here as a Boise Hawk, as the OA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Now, what you guys don't know about Wilson Contreras is he is a different kind of ball player than he was when he was right here in Boise playing for the Boise Hawks. And as a matter of fact, guys, my mom says he has changed, and not in the best of ways, okay? So last night, Wilson Contreras was hit by a pitch by Milwaukee Brewers pitcher Brendan Woodruff, okay? Now, it's very interesting because if you guys don't know this, Wilson Contreras has been hit by a pitch 20 times in his MLB career by the Milwaukee Brewers, and he has now been hit 6 times by Milwaukee Brewers starting pitcher Brendan Woodruff, okay? So really, Wilson Contreras kind of cuckoo lost it last night, okay? When he got hit by the pitch by Brendan Woodruff, blew up, okay? And, you know, the reason I say Wilson Contreras has changed, and not in the best of ways, is because, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when that would happen, he would not be doing what he did. Okay, obviously, I get it. It angered him. It offended him. But Wilson Contreras made a threat. He made a direct threat towards the Milwaukee Brewers in the post game last night. Okay, after the game last night, the Boston Red Sox media was talking to Wilson Contreras about what happened, and he said, the next time a Milwaukee Brewers pitcher punts me by a pitch, I'm going to take one of them out. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a direct threat, okay, by Wilson Contreras. And, a lot of people are kind of upset, because if anybody said that in society, they would definitely be getting arrested or getting a restraining order. And Wilson Contreras, literally, he had the nerve to make that direct threat towards the Milwaukee Brewers in a post-game interview. So I kind of got to ask you guys, if MLB is going to give a consequence, okay, to Wilson Contreras, what should it be? Okay, now my mom, okay, hear me out. This is what my mom thinks. Wilson Contreras is letting being a MLB player get to his head. And that is what is changing him, and not in the best of ways, okay? Now, like I said, I get where Wilson Contreras is coming from. He's been punked 6 times by Brendan Woodruff, 20 times by the Milwaukee Brewers in his MLB career. And then he says in the postgame, the next time they punk me, I'm taking one of them out. Well, you got to know the catcher for the Milwaukee Brewers is Wilson Contreras' younger brother, William Contreras, who, by the way, was the only person on the Milwaukee Brewers last night that was able to calm Wilson down. So, sorry guys, I got the hiccups. So, obviously, I think Wilson Contreras is a changed ball player. He has a temper that he did not have at the beginning of his MLB career. And but you know what? I understand and I can relate where Wilson Contreras is coming from. But making a direct threat on the postgame show is not okay. You don't do that, okay? Because like I said, if anybody went out and made a direct threat like one of that would either be equal to arrest or like a restraining order, a protection order, or something like that. And, it just, I don't know. I don't know why Wilson Contreras is making this huge big deal, because it's not that big of a deal. I get, like I said, I get it. He is frustrated and he's angry about this, but he's going out and taking it out the wrong way, and it may cost him, okay? Wilson Contreras at the moment has not been given a suspension by MLB. Of course, that can come later on, but as of right now, at the moment, I have not heard anything on him getting suspended, fined, whatever. But, you got to give a thumbs up to Wilson's younger brother, William Contreras, on calming Wilson down. Because, it really could have escalated if it wasn't for William Contreras calming his older brother down. But if you guys have not seen the replay, go check it out. But I did want to talk about that. Again, Wilson Contreras, 2011 and 12, he was a Boise Hawk for the entire year, and he only played 21 games in 2013. And in his 3 years as a Boise Hawk, he did play 4 different positions. And again, those 4 were left field, third base, first base, and catcher. Eventually, he would make his MLB debut in 2016 as a catcher, and he is now currently not a catcher at the MLB level anymore, and he is now a first baseman. But I did want to talk about that. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of Willson Contreras being a former Boise Hawk, but I guess that was like a little fun fact for you guys. But I do want to get you guys' intake and input on it as well. So please definitely leave it down below in the comment section. And now it is time to talk about Hawks Memorial Stadium and what kind of baseball ballpark it is when it comes to playing the lovely game of baseball in the ballpark. Okay, main event, baseball fans, guys, I want you all to remember just one little thing. That is that Ryan Knight, yours truly, is no meteorologist with the news. Okay? But what I'm about to talk about next is what kind of ballpark is Hawks Memorial Stadium? Is it a pitchers-friendly ballpark? Is it a hitters-friendly ballpark? Or is it right down the middle? You know, guys, before 2020, the Boise Hawks were a minor league team at the low A level. We were the low A level of 3 teams. At one point, the Angels, then the Cubbies, and then the Colorado Rockies. Okay, starting in 2021, the Boise Hawks became one of the newest teams in the Pioneer League. And let me remind you guys, before we were in the Pioneer League, we had our home opener and began our regular season in the month of June. But ever since 2021, when we joined the Pioneer League, we start our regular season in the month of May. Now, remember, yours truly is no meteorologist with the news, but I do know the difference, okay? So every month is very important to examine Hawks Memorial Stadium because every month is like weather is different. Now, last year, the Boise Hawks Memorial Stadium became a very, very pitcher-friendly ballpark in the month of May. And I'm going to tell you the one reason why. Number one, we actually had like a little breeze going on throughout the month of May. We didn't really have, heavy winds. It was just a light breeze. And if you got the ball hit hard enough, you would have definitely been able to carry the ball out of the ballpark. Not like at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Not like that, okay? But definitely, you would have been able to hit the ball and definitely carry it out. Now, the one game in the entire month of May where that was pretty much hard to do was our exhibition game against the Black Sox professional baseball team. On that one exhibition game, the wind was blowing in, out, center, up, down to the South Pole, to the North Pole, to Mars and all that. And on that one exhibition game, the ball did not carry. And a matter of fact, it pure died in the air. But other than that, guys, we had really good weather for our games. And when we had regular season games, the ball did carry pretty well. Despite having a light breeze, it was pretty good. And the ball, when you hit it out, hit it afar, and went for a home run. Now, you go from May to the month of June. Month number 1 of summer. Right? Well, guys, Hawks Memorial Stadium became very, very interesting in the month of June, and it would go for the remaining of the 2025 Pioneer League baseball season. You got to understand why. The one day you did not want to be an outfielder in a game at Hawks Memorial Stadium was Sunday. You're probably asking why. Oh, no. Okay. So I dropped the baseball. So you're probably wondering why. Like, why would you not want to be an outfielder at Hawks Memorial Stadium on Sunday? The answer is because it's a 1 o'clock start. Okay, so it's a day game. You know, out of a 6-game series, that's the only day game in the 6-game series. Okay, so here's the thing. You guys got to know, okay? Hitting the ball in the outfield, especially right field, during the day is extremely tough. You got to know that sunglasses even make it tough to catch the ball and find the ball, okay? I noticed in last year, guys, the one thing that hitters had an advantage of when they hit it to the outfield on a Sunday was the sun. The sun blinded eyes. I saw players, defending themselves when they had sunglasses on. There were a couple players that misread balls, and some of them even misread balls and still got lucky. But it's really the sun. And I'll go back to the outfield in a little bit. But really, guys, the ball carried, I was able to look it up, guys. And the ball carried 37.10% more during a night game in the month of June than it did in a day game. And that is surprising, believe it or not. No doubt about it. But at the exact same time, going to right field, guys, right field has always been tough, okay? And it's very tough when it's a night game. When you play a night game at Hawks Memorial Stadium in right field, I say 2 words: good luck. Because believe me, you're going to need it. Over the 10 years plus I've been going to Hawks Memorial Stadium during the summer to see some baseball, I've always noticed right field is so brutal. I've hosted players with the Boise Hawks that tell me it is so brutal because the sun is right there. Sometimes when we have a day game, it's easier through the first 5 innings. The first 5 innings are actually the best. And then after the 5th inning, it gets to a different level. Okay. So really, guys, the month of July. Now, the month of July, was pretty unique because the ball carried out more to left field than it ever did in center or right. All right. But one thing I noticed, guys, and I was like trying to look this up throughout the offseason, was that Boise Hawks Memorial Stadium was 13% more of a hitters-friendly ballpark than it had ever been in the past 5 years. Think about that for a minute, okay? So if you went to a Boise Hawks baseball game in 2025, you saw the ball fly a whole lot more than it ever did in the past 5 Boise Hawks seasons. Okay, pretty crazy, I know. But to this day and right now, when it is a day game, it is a little bit easier to play right field than it is playing right field at Hawks Memorial Stadium at night. And you know what? The metrics don't lie. And you know what? It just showed that. Okay, so that is everything you guys need to know about the outfield dynamics. Cannot talk today about Boise Hawks Memorial Stadium. In case you guys were wondering, the outfield dimensions of Hawks Memorial Stadium, it is 335 down the lines to left and right field, and it is 401 to center field. Those are the outfield dimensions of Hawks Memorial Stadium. It did used to be 400 feet to dead center, and then they moved it 1 foot out. So that is the outfield dimensions for Hawks Memorial Stadium.